Welcome everybody. This is a webinar that we're running on the new LinkedIn sales platform and social selling. My name is Mark Donkin from SuccessFlow. I'm the managing director here. I'm also joined by Gary O'Reilly from LinkedIn, who's a sales solutions consultant. Welcome, Gary.
Thank you very much, Mark.
The webinar, we're going to spend around about 30 minutes today going through the webinar. And we're going to focus on a few key areas. We're first going to just set the scene in terms of the power of LinkedIn and an introduction to the new LinkedIn sales platform. Gary's going to do a short demonstration on the new platform. The platform we're going to show you is not yet launched. It's hopefully due to be launched shortly, but it's a bit of a preview in terms of the new functionality and the ability then to run your kind of social selling programs. I'm then going to take over and look at the process to set up that social selling training in terms of getting your sales team trained up, looking at how you're going to the best practice to manage that process, and then measurement and tracking of all of that. So I'm going to hand over to Gary. I'll let Gary go for the first section and the demonstration, and then I will come back on. Okay, Gary.
Thank you, Mark, and good morning, everybody. Okay, so as Mark has just mentioned, today I'm going to be introducing all of you as sales leaders to LinkedIn's new sales solution platform, which has been designed recently specifically for sales organizations and is obviously offered at a corporate level. And I'll be conducting a demonstration of about 10 to 15 minutes of the main features. Before I do that, however, I just wanted to very quickly review how we've actually evolved as a business and set some context for you. Most of you will likely be aware that for a number of years we've been offering online and premium subscriptions, which individual sales reps have been subscribing to in order to help them prospect into target accounts, get access to greater in-mail resources and deeper access into the network, etc. But about 2 years ago, we developed a corporate offering where companies could actually acquire these premium accounts at scale for their reps. And we began working with these companies to provide further support and sales training. Simultaneously to this effort, however, we've actually been working on designing a much more comprehensive and standalone sales solution that would ideally fit the needs of every sales professional, from new business to account management, and every organization. And finally, we are at a launch stage of that product, which is going out this week. To provide even further context, this is a similar moment in LinkedIn's history to the recruitment solution that we launched 4 years ago, which has actually dramatically interrupted and revolutionized the way recruiters find talent, and particularly passive talent. We've changed how you go about finding prospects, and we feel with this new sales solution, we're going to drastically change how sales professionals actually use LinkedIn to find prospects. The new solution, called Sales Navigator, makes it extremely easy for salespeople to establish and grow relationships with your target decision makers by tapping into the network that we have of over 300 million professionals and over 3 million companies. As you can see in the slide on show at the moment, we have a wealth of information on your target companies, from the people that work there, the insights that they share on a daily basis, and the relationships that exist both within your target companies and your own company. So with all of this relevant information on LinkedIn, it's clear that LinkedIn itself is a very effective platform for sales professionals. However, free LinkedIn, as you will know, is focused very much on your personal growth, your personal network and development, rather than as a sales platform. So to really tap into the power of LinkedIn, you would need to expand your access to the broader LinkedIn network. With free LinkedIn, you only see about 0.5% of the overall network, about 1/50th of what you could see with the premium license. It's typically less than 1 million people out of our 300 million member base. And aside from the access, in order to get the most value out of the network, you really would need to tailor your experience to just see the information relevant to you and your sales role. 50 times the level of data and leads can be overwhelming, really, if it's not focused on exactly the territory or targets that you care about. And we know that typically salespeople will have specific target territories or perhaps a list of companies that they want to sell to. And with the new Sales Navigator solution, we offer a separate sales platform on LinkedIn, which is tailored specifically to your target criteria and acts really as a single sales resource to proactively deliver your reps with the relevant leads, the insights regarding your accounts, as well as uncovering the most effective path into engaging your prospects. And if we look at the next slide, you'll see how the solution itself works. There's 3 key inputs into Sales Navigator. We take the data from the LinkedIn network itself, so this is our members, our companies, the shares and updates, etc. And we also pull relevant news from around the web. This is up-to-date, up-to-minute news on your prospects, your target accounts, from external sources such as Yahoo, BBC, the Wall Street Journal, etc. And the final input is what we get from your reps themselves, the accounts, the leads, and the preferences that they have, the info they input and populate into LinkedIn, and educate the platform on what it is they ideally want to find, their specific territories, maybe industries, or even specific accounts and leads that you're interested in. You can now populate LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And if you do work with a specific named account list within your Salesforce database, you can now automatically sync these accounts over into the LinkedIn Sales Navigator platform. And I'll be covering that in the demo in a moment as well. So together, these 3 key inputs are put into LinkedIn's matching and insights engine. Your accounts, leads, and preferences are then used to filter down through LinkedIn's network data, and relevant news is then delivered, and just what matters to your reps will be filtered into their newsfeed. The result, obviously, would be the customized recommendations that we offer to your reps to help them establish relationships and actionable insights that help them to grow these relationships. So the solution itself is offered on a typical license-based SaaS model. We will build a team dashboard for your organization, and you ultimately have ownership of the licenses and distribute them as you see fit to the end users. This slide is simply an overview of the various features and elements that make up the full corporate solution. And as I mentioned, the solution is designed to help your reps focus on the right target demographic, to keep you informed of any movement or updates within your target account base, and ultimately help you to reach out to them and engage them as a trusted advisor. Lead Builder, lead recommendations, and the customized sales newsfeed, for example, are some of the specific features that help your reps with the focus, help them to find the right decision makers faster, and help them to actually build a strategy to engage each account. Whilst the likes of Save Leads, Updates, and the Salesforce widget, along with the account pages, ensure that the rep is kept informed of all of the movement within their accounts and presented with opportunities and relevant insights and content to actually leverage when engaging the prospects. So what I want to do now is actually walk you through a demo of the main features that we've seen on that last slide. And you will have noticed towards the end of those features that as well as providing these end user functionality, we do provide a comprehensive support and training structure, which we'll go into a little bit later as well. So providing you can now all see my screen, you should have in front of you my version of LinkedIn.com, which is the free consumer product that you will all be familiar with. The first and most important difference between our corporate solution and what we previously offered at a premium level, as I mentioned, is that we've now built a separate sales platform for your reps to separate their individual and personal profiles with the platform that they actually use to prospect and sell with whilst at work. And you'll notice up the right-hand corner, they now have the option to go and log into Sales Navigator, whilst LinkedIn.com itself remains the homepage and newsfeed for their own personal networks. So the first thing your reps will be asked to do is input their sales preferences into the Sales Navigator tool so that LinkedIn understands the types of leads to surface for your reps and the recommendations that we will then provide to help them target and engage that account. And very simply, all they will need to do is input the target territory or region that they sell into, if appropriate. Also aware that some reps will be focused on particular industries. It's very easy to scroll down through all of the list of industries we have here and to select ones that they may be focused on. If they are not focused industry specific, you can simply leave this one blank. And finally, they will be asked to highlight the particular functions or seniority level of the decision makers that they would target. Again, in my case, it would be C-level, VP and director, ideally in roles of sales, operations, or business development. The next step, if you choose to activate it, would be to launch the synchronization of data from Salesforce. If your reps work off a specific named list of accounts which will be assigned to them in Salesforce, you now have the option to pull over that specific list of accounts within their territory into the Sales Navigator platform, so that information about your reps' specific target accounts filters in to the homepage and the newsfeed of the new platform. And finally, you can choose to opt into weekly or daily email digests, which will go straight to your work email and deliver updates on a daily or weekly basis as to any movement or updates within your target account base pulled from Salesforce. So once your reps have populated their sales preferences and pulled over their listed accounts from Salesforce, this will now all pull in to the homepage of the new Sales Navigator platform. And the first thing you'll notice is that news feed on the new platform is specifically related to the leads and the accounts that your reps are focused on and interested in. So very different to LinkedIn.com, where it pulls relevant information from your network and your personal connections. This is based purely on a sales focus and on the accounts that you're interested in. Very easily, you can toggle through the different types of updates, from lead updates. So this would be somebody, a decision maker at one of your accounts changes role, for example, to the LinkedIn shares that are sent out through the LinkedIn company page of your target account. And again, if we scroll down here, you'll see various types of updates from my target accounts, which gives me a multitude of opportunity to actually engage with these companies in a slightly different way. You'll also notice we have an In the News tab, which, as I mentioned, is now pulling from external news sources, making sure that we search on your behalf and deliver any piece of relevant information about your target accounts directly to your reps through LinkedIn. You'll also notice in the top right-hand corner an Accounts and a Leads tab. Once you've actually run through the Salesforce synchronization, the accounts that you pulled over from your territory will be populated here, as well as accounts that you then manually add. In this instance, I've pulled over about 300 named accounts from Salesforce, and you'll see that I've added about 92 other manual accounts as I've prospected through the platform. It also pulls over the contacts from Salesforce and populates them on the Leads tab. And I'll come back to this in a moment and show you how we get a bit more focus on prospecting into these accounts and these leads. So from the home page, you can see that LinkedIn is effectively prospecting on your behalf, proactively trawling through LinkedIn, through the accounts and leads you're interested in, and through the wider World Wide Web to provide your reps with opportunities to engage your target accounts. When you want to become a bit more focused and proactive in your prospecting, we've also created a specific account dashboard for each target account. So if you're to click on any of your named accounts in the accounts list, or indeed run a search for a new account, it will take you to a specific dashboard for that company. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm just going to choose Zendesk. And this will show you the new layout for a sales professional to help you build a strategy into your target accounts. First thing you'll notice at the bottom of the screen here is that we provide full information from their website as to who the company are and what they do, as well as a link to their website. And there's a news feed here similar to the home page, but this is focused purely on this specific named account and updates on any movement within your saved leads, shares from that company, and again, any articles from around the web based on this target account. When we scroll up, you'll notice that the lead recommendations tab is pulling the sales preferences that your reps entered upon setup and delivering suggested leads and people that may be of interest. I personally would typically target, as you saw, senior sales managers and operational people like Garrett and Stephen Green, for example. And if these are the type of people that I would want to engage, I can very simply click to save these as leads. If you scroll across, it will also show you how you're connected to a particular account. People that are in your first, second, and third degree network that work at your target account. And more importantly, the team link, a strictly corporate feature that really helps to engage in a warmer fashion with your target account. By virtue of your reps now being on a team corporate dashboard, you're able to leverage each other's connections to uncover warmer paths to engage your target decision makers. Here you'll see a list of people who are directly connected to colleagues of mine at LinkedIn. If this account homepage, through the updates, the lead shares, and the recommendations, doesn't provide you with a full picture of the account, you can still use the advanced search tools and get full access to all the employees just by clicking here. You will see that we now have a full view of 654 employees that say they work at Zendesk. Important to note, however, that without this premium access, I would only see 224 that sit in my first and second degree, and all of these other hundreds of potential leads would be hidden from me on a free LinkedIn account. So very quickly, by clicking Team Link, I now have 177 connections at Zendesk, at my target account, that actually are connected to colleagues of mine at LinkedIn. And using the other premium filters down in the left-hand side, I can increase my focus by simply clicking the territory that matters to me, in this case, UK and Ireland. Highlighted are some other leads here that may be of interest that would help me to get into this target account, like a sales operations leader, who I can very simply save as a lead. And then once I've finished picking all of the leads that are of interest to me, I can go back to the account and click on the 9 saved leads that I've added through the prospecting process. So now I have 9 extremely relevant saved leads at my target account. And with the in-mail feature, which is a one-to-one message across the LinkedIn platform, I'm able to send a direct message to all of these prospects, even though I'm not necessarily connected to them. Alternative to the in-mail message would be a team link message. So for a lot of these people, they are connected to colleagues of mine. And if I was to choose Stuart Townsend, for example, I can see 4 people that work with me at LinkedIn that are directly connected to Stuart, and I can ask them through a team link message to make the introduction to hopefully set up a meeting with Stuart. Now, what if I'm a rep that doesn't work within a specific named account list? The lead builder functionality would then become extremely important to me as I prospect all accounts in a particular region or territory that I'm focused on. So for the purpose of another simple demonstration, let's say that I'm a sales rep based in the UK and I want to know who all the sales directors are in the SMB space of the telecommunications vertical. So I open up the lead builder. I choose the company size that I wish to target very quickly. I scroll down industry until I get to telecommunications. And then I select the types of people that I want to engage with at these companies. So VP, director, and C-level. And I run a very quick search on that criteria. So still a huge amount of leads for me to work on and to refine down to get very specific and granular with my search. Again, very important to note that out of these 48, almost 49,000 people, without this access to LinkedIn, I would see less than 2,000. What I would typically do is use these advanced filters down the left-hand side to get very focused on my search. So to select the UK as the location, I could also, for example, select a region by postcode or city. And one thing that would work extremely well for me to get even more focused on my list of results is to use advanced features like past company to perhaps find leads that may have actually been a customer of mine in the past and have worked at an existing client of LinkedIn. In this example, let's say that BT is an existing client of LinkedIn. By choosing this option, I now have 213 highly qualified and relevant leads that work at new companies throughout the UK, but used to work at BT. And it gives me a very relevant messaging to approach them with via email. Or perhaps I could check out of these 213 people, is anybody connected to any of my colleagues via Teamlink? When I select this box, I get a very narrow search result of 12 extremely relevant leads that I can be introduced to directly through LinkedIn and reach out to them with a highly relevant message. What you'll also notice, which is a brand new feature never on LinkedIn before, is the ability to now search purely for companies as well. And I'll finish off with another very quick demo and an example that many of you may come across on a daily basis if you don't work with a specific named of accounts. So again, I'm a UK-based new business rep. I focus selling to staffing and recruitment companies, but very small firms, and they are based in Manchester. Very easy to populate my search criteria, looks across our database of over 3 million companies on LinkedIn and delivers over 2,000 qualified accounts for your reps to target and go after. Thank you very much.
Okay, Gary, thanks for taking us through the demo. That was very useful. Hopefully, you can see some of the new functionality, then how you can really start to engage with your target audience and specifically really going after target accounts and demographics and leads there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on and look at some of the resources and setup you're going to need, the training you want to put in there, how to manage this process. So first thing I'm going to look at is the setup. So we're going to focus on the kind of content you might want to use, what you want to do with your profiles, going through that integration with Salesforce, and then using some of the key features of LinkedIn to get yourself organized. So for us, having a good content strategy is really essential to getting the right conversion, the right results. You know, we really want to be adding value onto LinkedIn, and as you start to engage with that audience, you want posting out the right type of content. So behind this should be a good content strategy. And if you look there, then we've got guides and webinars and events that we would work on. These are some examples of campaigns we've run with clients. But then providing that information for the sales team so they can use that to their advantage and invite their audience on there through the Sales Navigator platform. It just going to show you adding a lot more value on LinkedIn and get you a much better engagement at that level. Having said that, with the content, you really need to think about content that's going to convert as well. So you want to be that you would be posting a lot out there, but at the end of the day, we want people to be converting as well. So ideally, with something like this, we can have this linking back to landing pages where they'll be registering for the webinar, for example, and that information, then that profile information, will be then streaming back into CRM. Next is really optimizing the profiles. So it's really important that we have a very rich and well optimized profile. It's going to really raise the individual's authority on LinkedIn, going to help them get found much better. You can really position yourself. I mean, originally, this was used as a lot of people use LinkedIn as a CV. Not really what we're looking at here. We're looking at using LinkedIn as a way to provide an insight into me as an individual, but also our organization. And on there, we have some other nice features like the ability to post other content. So you can see here, we've got a marketing automation guide and we're promoting the webinar there. And that net result then, will get you the rankings. You can see there that I'm in the top 2% most viewed professionals in that area. And if you can see, my profile there is at an all-star level. So it's something that you've definitely got to look at before we start just, posting out and engaging with individuals in that audience. Next thing I just want to reiterate, really, and going back to Gary's point, is the importance, if you have got Salesforce. Now, at the moment, there is no integration with Dynamics, say. That isn't to say that you can't get the data into LinkedIn. You can manually do that. But if you've got Salesforce, there's the API now, the connection there to pull that data. Now it's one way, so that's going to go from Salesforce to LinkedIn. But that means that you can have you can be streaming in your accounts into LinkedIn, and then you can start engaging with them immediately. And as Gary showed you in there, one of the key features there is your saved searches or your lead builder, the ability to save those. Now, what Gary showed you could do that demographic type search. But what we would look at is really what are the segmentations. So making sure if you've got a team of salespeople that this is all pre-set up, so everybody knows who they're targeting on LinkedIn, and then you have your content ready for the various segments. So, for example, we might have variant content going out, being posted out or being messaged. In our example, would be different for a salesperson as it would be for a marketing contact. So that you're not, your team are not over marketing on it one another, contacting the same contact over and over, and you can then you can keep those saved searches. So you can see here, you can save that as a saved search so you can get back to it, and it'll also give you alerts there as well in terms of if there's been any movement in that save. Whether there's new people into there, whether they've recently joined LinkedIn or whether they've moved jobs or whatever. So it's very useful. And you can see there, that's what that looks like. So I've got various ones on senior sales, sales manager, sales director, depending on the job titles. And, I might have different content for different sections of that segment. The other one is in terms of as you build up your connections and getting those connections going, you then start to organize your actual first line connections. So, well, you can actually do this at first and second level. So you can start to put those individuals in using the tags. So you tag them. Now those tags mean something. Again, it comes back to the segmentation. So, you can see there those various titles, and then I can assign somebody to one of those tags. And then I know when I want to find a segment of individuals within LinkedIn, I can go straight into that tagging system and do that. And also it gives you the ability then to send messages out at a tag level opposed to a connection level. So that makes you more efficient in terms of getting your content out there. So once you've got everything set up, before you just give everybody the subscription, in our opinion, we need to be well versed and have the right knowledge and skills to start using this process correctly. So, we need to look at making sure that everybody knows where they get their content, how they're going to post, how they're going to engage with their leads, how and when they should connect, and making that support and training on an ongoing basis. So firstly, is what we would look at doing is either creating a content library, so if in your knowledge base, you could access it in there, or you create specific folders, which is what we do, so everybody has their own folder where the content is then accessible, but also it'll give them other information. You can get access to knowledge base, you can get access to your segmentation, your target audience. So each individual makes it very easy for them to go and pick up the content that they've got access to and that they can then push out there. Now, what I'm looking at here is posting. So this is posting onto your profile. So this is something that should be happening on a regular basis. really want to be managing this centrally. So with the right platform at the back end, you can actually manage that centrally. So you can have all of the content approved, and then you've got a regular stream of posts going out across those individuals on LinkedIn. So, keeping you engaged, and that again in turn drives traffic to those pages. And if you've got those pages optimized, that's going to then in turn drive traffic to your content and to your website. Next is then engaging with your leads. So as you saw in Gary's demo there, from the Sales Navigator platform, you can engage with those leads on a regular basis. You can make sure that all your leads are organized, but you want to use in the various mechanisms to do that. So you've got your in-mails, which you get in Sales Navigator. You're going to get 25 a month, but weekly you get returned any that have not converted or responded. You also can look out for the open in-mail or the open message icon, which will allow you to message somebody without using an in-mail. If you're first line connected, you can message them, and like I said, you can do that through tags. And now with Team Link, you can also then use your reach through your colleagues to get those introductions going, to allow you to really start to communicate with your leads. But you want to also be then monitoring the inbox, for any responses coming back in. Even if you're directing to content, you will get a lot of responses coming back into your inbox. Now, get asked this question a lot in terms of how and when to connect. When should we be connecting? There needs to be a level of relationship, and it's really important that this program is going to help you build up the relationship with those leads. But at the right time, we can then turn those second, third level connections into first level connections, which allow you then to communicate much easier without the cost of using in-mails and so on. But don't be tempted to connect with everybody. One, it's against LinkedIn's policy. You really need to be doing it at the point where we've got a relationship, we've got some engagement going, and then you can have a process, but make sure that it's documented. I would have that documented, and so the team know exactly how and when to do that. So on an ongoing basis, LinkedIn changes fairly regularly, and it's not a licensed product, so there's no official release notes and so on in terms of if you were buying a piece of software. So having an expert at your fingertips, at the salespeople's fingertips, that can regularly update, answer any questions, keep on top of the information and best practice is going to be very useful. LinkedIn provides some useful assistance. So you got live training that would through dedicated training. You've got the self-paced learning center with your tip sheets and webinars and best practices and so on, to that kind of knowledge base. And you get your own relationship manager. So as a corporate account, you're going to get a relationship manager that can help you there. So now we're all trained up, we've got everything set up. We need to look at the process to best practice to manage that. So making sure you're keeping on top of, like I said, keeping on top of those connection tags, listening and monitoring to what's going on, updating Salesforce back from LinkedIn, and making sure you've got a good schedule to schedule time to manage this process. And then also, making sure you've got a consistent flow of new content coming through to keep it interesting and relevant. So, as we've got those segments, we've got the tags built. At that early stage, we need to make sure we're going back in. We're looking at any new connections we've got, that we add them into the segmentation, that we build out those new saved searches, and we that needs to be an ongoing process. Need to be spending time looking at those leads and that stream, as Gary showed you, that stream of information coming in. So what you'll definitely start to see is if you've got your accounts and leads in there, you'll see a stream of information about the account or posted by the lead, or it might be an alert to tell you that person's moved. Use that information. You can then comment, share that with other people, engage them, use a message, use an email, but use the information you've got at your disposal to comment on what's happening with them, not all about you. Once we've started to get going and you start to see these opportunities turn into sales opportunities, i.e. there's a real sales lead, we want to be getting that back into CRM. Now, this doesn't have to be Salesforce, but basically we can then start to pull that data, and the lead should be in Salesforce, right? But as you saw, you can also be identifying new leads all the time. So either you're going to be updating the record back into Salesforce, or you need to be adding the new lead back into Salesforce as a lead in there, so you can manage it right through, the opportunity process and see that turn into a sale. Really important that we're looking at the production of new content, so working with marketing, keeping the production coming, keeping new content coming, new webinars, guides, ebooks, whatever it might be. So you've got a consistent flow of schedule of content coming through. And then really fundamentally, this is not a reactive type environment. You need to look at this as part of your overall sales day, just exactly the same as if and when we used to, going to make some sales calls, we need to be looking at LinkedIn as I'm going to do some LinkedIn management, sales management within LinkedIn. So allocate some time, make sure your messages are going out, especially your in-mails. Get very high conversion there. Make sure you're going in and actually really looking at those posts and engaging on them and making sure that all is starting to feed back in. Now, really want measures then to track that and to make sure that's happening. So that's very important, and that's really the next stage. So, how are you going to create usage? How are you going to get usage going? So a good way to do that is create competition. Have a central view on what's going on. So if you can have a centralized analytics and then tracking all of that back into CRM or into Salesforce. So one thing we've developed here is a leaderboard. So this is something we work with our clients. A leaderboard here would show the kind of engagements somebody's seeing on their profile. How many clicks are they getting from the messages they're sending out? How many messages have they sent out? How many connections did they generate? Now you can see there, the connection doesn't change much in our case. That's important as well. We don't want to see somebody getting hundreds of new connections in a week. That's a week. But, we're building up relationships all the time. So, as we start to get any engagement with somebody and get a relationship with somebody, then we would then connect. So it's an important part of it. And that leaderboard creates that kind of competition and that visibility on who is being proactive and who's not. This, again, is a dashboard that we developed to give us a central view on what's going on LinkedIn. So you've got your profiles, you've got how my connections, and it's all kind of ticker based. So green and red here. How my group's performing, how's my company pages performing. So have that central view on what's going on is very useful. Then we're looking to pull all of that back into Salesforce. Here you can see all of that activity. This is a central marketing dashboard. So this is showing all of my leads, by week, by score, sales readiness, by campaign. But as you can see, a significant amount of those come through LinkedIn. So, really wanted to crystallize the importance of LinkedIn as part of as a channel for lead generation also. So just to finish off, just 1 minute about us. I mean, everybody knows LinkedIn, so I just wanted to finish off 1 minute about SuccessFlow, and then we're going to take some questions. So we have really 3 levels to our business. The first that you see here is our software level. We have 3 areas to that. So we've got marketing, and we see LinkedIn as part of that. So LinkedIn's a very important platform in there. We have Acton in terms of automation, Twitter obviously, and we have a social platform called Octopus, which is absolutely fantastic. All connected into Salesforce. We then looking at how we can then enrich that data. So as you saw there with LinkedIn, pulling that, making sure you're getting that data back, the opportunity data back in, Ringlead, keeping it clean, and salesforcedata.com to build the database. And then in sales, obviously LinkedIn again is very important, and Salesforce in terms of the sales process management. And the next level is the consultancy level, where we help companies to integrate that, configure those platforms, develop on top of that, and then provide any training. And the third layer is the agency layer, where we run content marketing, we run social marketing, email marketing, nurture programs, scoring, social selling, and aligning all that back into sales. Okay, well, thank you for your time, and I'm going to now take some questions. What would be great before we do that is if you could also connect with us. Please go to our company page on LinkedIn. We post a lot onto there. We also have a group on LinkedIn called B2B Digital Marketing Insights, which you can go and join. Alternatively, please do call us.